Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Friday Night Access. Join us as we discuss such sexy topics as Ninja leaving Twitch, a terrible tragedy, and the scapegoats they blame. And to finish it all off, we'll discuss how much of a mess the comic book industry. As always, join our hosts, Nick Gibson and Gareth Brown, as we use our voice to inform you of all that is going on. Hi, everybody. I am not Dr. Nick, but I am one of your wonderful hosts, Nicholas Gibson. Joining me is Garrison Brown. How are you doing, Garrison?
I'm doing all right. What about yourself?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Just relaxing with some water. What are you up to?
Uh, Talking pretty much.
Oh, that's always a good activity. Oh yeah,
Indeed.
I've been busy the past few days. I'm pretty hyped for Classic WoW returning. Actually, joined a guild. Shout out to my guild, Mile High Jaw Club. You guys are awesome. They Blizzard did a stress test the past few days, and I've been playing with the guild, and it's just been a lot of fun. I'm actually really excited. The 27th can't come sooner. What have you been playing with?
What have I been playing with?
Yes.
I'm not going to go for the obvious answer there, but instead I'm going to go with what I was actually doing. Let's see. I was pretty much the same, doing some coloring work. I'm still playing Osu when I can because I love games that just like really really challenge me, and League of Legends. And I mean, I tried playing some League earlier today, but I think the servers are just completely borked today or something.
Maybe
Because,
the toxicity of the community actually manifested itself into physical form and melted the servers.
see, that's the thing. Like, League is kind of infamous for having a toxic community, but I find that, like, that hasn't even been a factor since, like, season 4, and we're on season 9 now.
So you're saying a stereotype about a group of people isn't actually true?
My god! Well,
No,
well, hold on.
no
To
way,
be
that
fair,
isn't
it
possible.
was
I thought
true.
all stereotypes were true. You mean to tell me that that League of Legends community, that the fact that they're toxic is exaggerated or outright false, and that people just perpetuate a false stereotype?
Okay, hold on. To be fair, though, it was true at one point. Like,
But it isn't anymore.
yeah, it isn't anymore, and I think that's mainly just because like stuff like Overwatch and Fortnite came into the scene. So like,
Because it's not the trendy game anymore.
yeah, it's not the trendy game. Like not everyone's trying to be a League of Legends streamer anymore. So like, they don't have to act up, and it's like, okay, great, y'all can just kind of move on, and the people who actually just like playing the game can just sit here and play the game with everyone who also likes playing the game.
Certainly. Oh yeah. So how has your been coloring work been doing as the most colorful member of my crew?
Well, let's see. I'm just about done with the flat colors of it, and then I'm gonna go through and do the actual like adding value to it.
You're
Um,
gonna add value to your colors.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you know what that is in art terms, right?
Not exactly, but that's why I
Um,
hired you.
Basically, just translate values to shading,
Oh, so
like
you're
to
gonna be a
giving
shady
dimension and
individual.
shading and whatnot. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. That's all that translates to. Although I gotta admit,
Ah,
it's really strange working with like a desert house. It's not one I'm used to yet, but but it's fun
we
regardless.
all gotta extend our boundaries somehow.
Exactly. So it'll be fine.
Yeah. So from going from sexy colors, how about we go to some sexy topics?
Sure. What's first on our agenda?
Ninja out of Twitch. Um,
Right, that thing.
yeah. So for those who are unaware, um, Ninja is probably one of the most popular Fortnite streamers. And since Fortnite is like the game right now, he's like one of the most popular. So in essence, he's kind of a big deal. I mean, I've only really heard about him tangentially, but still, I'm an old man, so that can be excused.
Yeah,
But
same here.
so Microsoft owns a streaming platform called Mixer, and so they wanted more people to come to it. So they did literally the oldest trick in the book, and they found the most popular person, dropped a huge suitcase full of money in his lap, and said, "Come work for us." He looked at the money, looked up at them, said, "Yes, please."
See, the really
And
funny thing is that I don't think the money he was offered was actually that much considering. I think it was like, what, $1 million or something he was offered?
yeah, and doesn't he like make that in a year or something?
Well, let's be fair, he probably makes it in like a couple years, or we'll say like even 3 years. I don't know his numbers exactly.
Yeah, maybe like they offered him a good amount of money and then a lot of also a bunch of side benefits.
Yeah. God,
You know,
yeah.
because sometimes it's not about the money; it's about like how you're treated. You know, like, hey, come work for us. You'll make the same amount of money, but you'll have all these other perks. You know,
Gotcha.
yeah, it's like I'm trying to think of what the phrase is. People don't leave jobs; they leave managers.
Nope. Shadow says I have an echo on stream.
Is it me?
Um, I don't know.
Hmm.
Um,
Testing 1 2 3. Hi, Shadows. How you doing?
how does that sound now, Shadow?
Yeah, how's it sound?
Do I have multiple sources going?
Yeah, because I have headphones in while I'm doing this, so.
Wait a second. Hold on, I think I may know what it is. Okay, if I turn that all the way down.
All right, how's
Shadow,
that?
how does this sound now? Because it's not you, Nick. Shadow definitely said
Oh,
it's not you.
oh, okay, that makes me feel better. And for the record, like Garrison, you sound fine on my end, but that's different.
Yeah, yeah. Because ours is just a Discord call. That just made me
Yeah.
very quiet. Really?
Oh, that is crazy. Huh.
Okay.
Well, you're figuring that out. I'm gonna talk about the ninja stuff. So, so this kind of does shake things up a little bit because Twitch has kind of been a monopoly on like that kind of segment, you know, like streaming and like video game streaming.
Also, hi, Ghosty.
Oh, hi, Ghosty. Hello, the Ghosty with the mosty. So like I'm trying to confirm more thoughts. So like this kind of changes up the platform a little bit. Obviously, it leaves a void on Twitch. I say that with, I mean, it's kind of ironic we're talking about this as we're broadcasting on Twitch. So it's kind of a weird thing to, talk about. But I mean, Twitch isn't going anywhere. I mean, come on, it's not like Ninja leaves and the
Yeah,
whole thing goes with them.
Shadow added in that Ninja already has 1 million followers, which yeah, that is something I forgot to mention that. Thank you, Shadow.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So I
yes,
think
Ghosty, we do have a stream. Hello.
yeah, like honestly, yeah, like Shadow really kind of brought up an interesting point where he has 1 million followers, and I'd imagine those followers are pretty loyal. So that's instantly 1 million followers that are going to migrate to Mixer, and they're not going to just watch Ninja. I mean, if they're on a platform, obviously they're going to see other creators that they might want to go see. So like, it's a good move for Microsoft, and honestly, I think it's a good move for the industry because it creates competition for Twitch.
Yeah, she says no. I mean, he already has 1 million on Mixer.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, thank you. By the way, I stand corrected, but like, um, oh
See,
yeah, because that.
I don't think this is gonna amount to anything
Why not?
because like thing is when the juggernaut is as big as it is, like what Twitch is right now, the only way that they kind of really get dethroned is if they mess up. Like if they just objectively shoot themselves in the foot.
I
So
agree that's probably going to be the case, but at the same time, the fact that there is now another like solid competitor in play will definitely like mix things up. I guess you could say it'll be quite the mixer.
oh my god. Well, that is true. It does add in like an actual factor of competition because I feel like, um, because I feel like with the YouTube, right? The YouTube streams that are going. Oop,
Yeah.
and okay, I'm going to turn that off. Hold on.
Okay.
Shadow was saying like apparently I was still quiet, and that
Yeah, and
there's
we
two
want
of
to
us
hear you.
talking. Okay, how are the audio levels now, Shadow?
You were saying something about YouTube?
Yeah, I know. I'm just waiting for a second. Audio sounds better? Awesome. Thank you.
Ah,
And
thank
welcome,
you,
Destro.
Shadow. You're awesome. We really, yes, thank you. We really appreciate the help.
Okay.
We're always looking to, be better and whatnot.
Don't worry about the
Seriously,
echo. Hold on. Do I still have an echo going or what? What?
is it Shadow? Is it like really, really bad, or is it more of a tolerable kind of echo?
A second delay echo. Where on earth? Okay, so if I turn this off, how is it now? Okay, so the echo is better. Can you still hear me? Okay, they say it's all good now. No, see,
Ah, so
that's
good.
so weird. Those are settings in OBS that like we have not had issues with until right now, this
Maybe
moment.
that's weird.
Okay,
Wonder if you stepped on a broken mirror or something.
I must have or something like that because like that because I have not changed those settings since the beginning, and only now is it
Well, do
like
us a. Well, how about you do both me, you, and Shadow a favor, not break any more mirrors, okay?
yeah, I'll do my best. But anyways,
You're talking about YouTube.
right. Ghosty mentions, you sure about that? Look at YouTube. Since Twitch was made, they messing up a lot.
Yeah, with the TOS stuff, but that's more of a matter of opinion. Like in my opinion, I definitely feel like it's messing up, but so I
No,
acknowledge that some may disagree.
yeah. Oh no, I was saying with on the YouTube front. I'm not saying like YouTube in terms of streaming is some kind of juggernaut, but like they introduced streaming at one point, and people were like, "Oh my god, are they trying to take over Twitch?" Like,
It
well,
would
no.
make
What
sense.
what ended up actually happening was YouTube just kind of found its niche. Like for instance, with Linus Tech Tips, people are more likely to go watch a stream of his on YouTube because his following is pretty much exclusively on
Yeah,
YouTube.
so like streaming on YouTube is for people who already have a following on YouTube,
Yeah,
and it's easier, like let's say you're a YouTuber with 1 million subscribers. It's a lot easier to get 1 million people to watch you on YouTube because they'll get alerted to it. It's just that yeah.
yeah,
But as far as you know,
yeah.
uh,
Like what Shadow just said. If someone starts on YouTube, it makes sense to stream on YouTube. Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, I agree. That's a good input. Uh,
Yeah, but like the thing is, with Mixer, what do they actually get out of this? They get some of Ninja's followers.
and
Okay.
they're hoping it'll like some of Ninja's followers will start following other people on Mixer.
Yeah, they're hoping that that'll like trickle out and bleed out, but you still only have the followers of one person. You only have one
Maybe they'll
demographic.
start like bringing other people over. Like, I mean, I'm not really into the streaming game, so
Yeah.
I can't really
Well,
see the
like,
big ones.
well, what's more likely to happen is, I mean, don't get me wrong, some people will bring their friends over and whatnot, But what'll probably happen is if they're the type to watch Ninja, they're probably also the type to maybe tune into a few other Fortnite streamers. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll just kind of go with whoever they want to watch at the moment. So even if you have 1 million followers for Ninja on Mixer, you're not going to get as big of a turnout as you think.
You'll get 1 million followers for next Ninja Sir, but
Yeah,
not
like
necessarily 1 million followers of Mixer.
yeah, and I real and like I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to see competition for Twitch because competition is like always good in the end.
Mm-hmm.
For Ninja, God damn it, Ghosty.
Oh my god.
Also, Ghosty says,
Yes.
I've seen a lot of people move from YouTube and end up dragging 75% of their following over to here, to Twitch.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like YouTube and Twitch, it's very personality based.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, some people I'm more of a YouTuber. Like I watch content on YouTube. It's basically like television for me, so I can more comment on that. But like Twitch is, streaming is kind of a different animal because it's more personality based. Because there's a set number of games that people would be streaming at any moment, and like yeah, you go there to watch a game, but you more go there for like the streamer. Like they're
Yeah.
funny. They're nice to watch on stream. They're like interacting with people.
Yeah, and
Like
the thing is,
that's
people expect different things out of YouTube versus a live streaming
exactly
service.
exactly.
But the issue here is that they're competing for the same thing. Mixer and Twitch are
Yeah.
competing for this same, like,
The way I
general
see it,
audience.
this is more of an opening shot.
Or the
Like they
Tatas. Yep, pretty much.
I don't want to get into that aspect. That's kind of a
That's a topic
minefield.
for another day.
Those are some topics for another day. Oh my god, I'm terrible.
Those are some
Um,
huge, voluptuous topics.
but grr,
Okay,
uh,
anyways.
but basically, I feel like this is like the opening salvo. Like I think this is not all that Mixer's gonna do. This is just like the thing that this put them on the map. Like
Mm-hmm.
this, no one knew about Mixer. I mean, probably some people knew, but the general public was not aware of Mixer. Now Mixer is a public name. I think Microsoft is going to follow this up with other moves, like bringing other people in. So this is not just something that's confined to a vacuum. And we're kind of operating on half a script right now. Like I'm sure a year from now we would be able to talk more about this, but this is just more like an opening salvo, the
Yeah.
first shot.
I get,
You know.
like, yeah, yeah, I think it's pretty much like what you said. If they can get themselves out of just being the topic of the week and turn it into like, oh, hey, Mixer isn't just this random thing that popped up. It's an actual like established service now. And if their user interface and if like if their quality of the site is just generally better than Twitch and they like what you said, if they follow up with it, then yeah, it's possible they can be an actual contender. But
Because
if
that's
their
why
entire basis is, hey, we got Ninja,
Yeah, it's kind
well,
of like the
great,
whole
you got one channel.
Epic Game Store kind of debacle where Epic just keeps getting these exclusives, which I mean that in itself is whatever. But the fact is, like the Epic Game Store, the interface is so shitty. They're acting in very much kind of like a smug, arrogant manner, and it's also like how they've been stealing people's information and all that stuff. It just
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's just kind of like you said, like the interface is better, the service is better, because you can't really you can have people come to your service because of exclusives, but they stay because of the service.
Mm-hmm.
Like the interface,
Yeah, that's how you keep the people you got.
and that's why people have a problem with the Epic Game Store because they're basically using all their Fortnite money, which it's just weird just saying that.
Well, yeah, like if like yeah, along that those same lines. Like think about what was it? You play in Origin. Like there's
Like
a reason
Origin is
Steam
kind of
is
a thing.
there's a reason Steam is still the top dog. Actually, I played some Star Wars Battlefront 2 with a friend of mine, OJ, and I mean I already had Origin installed because I had to get like a couple games or something.
Yeah, because they used to have a free games program. I got a couple that way.
Uh, but anyways, so the thing is, I booted it up and that interface in Origin is dog. It is
It is
horrifically.
total ass,
Oh yeah, it is
and not the
horrifically
good kind
bad.
of ass.
Yeah, not the good kind of ass. Like the mounds that Ghosty was talking about that we're gonna have to climb later. Like, it was
Yes.
so bad that I never want to use Origin again, and I would much rather stick with Steam that
Damn.
has everything actually laid out properly. I haven't looked at
Yes.
Uplay recently, but
GOG is pretty good. Like GOG has their GOG Galaxy client, but like GOG is more for like older games and CD Project Red stuff.
GOG? What's that?
Uh, their website, they used to be called Good Old Games. They're run by CD Project Red, the people who make The Witcher.
Okay.
And they mostly sell like older games. They do sell some. They have a big focus on older and indie games, so they do sell some newer games. Plus, you can get CD Projekt Red games on it. So, like for example, I have Witcher 3 through GOG, and the thing about GOG games is, you buy them, they're DRM free. So, like, you can download them off the website, and you get the installer. And so, like, let's say I have an installer for Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, which I do think is on there. I could give it to you and you could install it and play it no problem.
Okay. Let's see. Ghosty says they are branching out a lot by letting games have an extra bonus of a free month with each game, so getting more people involved into wanting to try it out. Okay.
Which one is that?
I think that's for the Epic Games launcher.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
no. Ghosty says nope. Which one was that for, Ghosty?
Is
Oh,
it
for
GOG?
Mixer. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, like, the offers are nice, but their user interface still has to be, like, good. Like, they actually have
Yeah,
to
and
have
they
good
have to
design
have they
behind it,
have to
too.
have good customer service policies.
Mixer's including a free month with a lot of games. Gotcha. My mistake.
Oh, that's not
Yep, that's a
terrible.
nice incentive.
Yes, it's a nice incentive. But really, it kind of remains to see like how they're going to follow up on it because they've definitely done a good opening move. Like this is a good opening act, but let's see how they follow it up because that'll really show like how things will play out.
Yeah, it's their way of a foot in the door, says Ghosty. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's their foot in the door. Now don't trip and land flat on your face.
Yeah.
Not that we've seen people do that at all.
No, no, no. And not like anyone's recorded it, tried to send it into a national television show in hopes of winning $1 million and be one of America's funniest videos.
Shadow says Ninja's actually live at the moment. Oh, okay. That's nice. Actually,
Okay,
what's his viewership right now? I want to see this.
yeah, that's kind of interesting. That would be something I would be interested in hearing about, like his viewership from Twitch compared to Mixer. Because like if he moves, it's not guaranteed 100% of his audience will follow him. In fact, it's more likely not 100% of his audience. Most of it, but
Also, I love how I typed in, like, okay, so get this. I typed into the, search bar, Ninja's live stream. First two things that popped up were his Twitch channels, followed by a YouTube video, followed by a bunch of news about his Switch. Not Mixer. I had to
oh
search for Mixer separately. Once I got into Mixer, then it has a banner on the top saying, Watch Ninja on Mixer.
wow, that's kind of freaky. Like that's kind of like some conspiracy level shit right there.
Yeah, and then, like, the top games, pretty much 40,000 for Fortnite, and then, like, a few thousand for a couple other things, and that's about it. Hold
Oh
on, let's see.
wow.
I am going to click Watch Ninja right now. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm invited.
Oh, I'm not
Oh,
going to play the
just
audio.
don't make sure the audio doesn't come through. I don't want to get like
Oh,
stricken.
yeah, I
I
muted
don't
that
want to get stricken
immediately.
down by the hammer of Twitch.
Gotcha. Yeah. Right now he has about 28,000 viewers.
Eh,
Which, don't get me wrong, that's good for a single
but is it
channel.
Ninja good? Is it Ninja good?
I honestly don't know. I've never tuned into a ninja stream, so I don't know if that's actually good
Me
numbers or
neither.
not.
Me neither, really. Um, ah, so that topic was fun, but I
Okay,
do
yeah, we
think
should move on. We should move on.
so. Just gonna warn some people. The next topic is pretty heavy. I mean, obviously, I think you guys know what I'm about to say.
Go for it.
So recently, there were some incidents in Dayton, Ohio, and in El Paso. Some very tragic incidents. I don't want to go into specifics because you all know what it's about. It's very sad, and I just wanted everyone to have kind of a little moment of silence. Um, Garrison, just let me know when it's over.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Our hearts go out to the families involved in the incident and the lives lost. But in these kind of times, we shouldn't reach for quick answers, which unfortunately is what the politicians have done as they usually do.
Yep.
So many of our politicians, including our illustrious leader, who shall not be named, have blamed a hobby that is very near and dear to my heart: video games. Many politicians, national organizations that worship rifles have turned their ire towards my favorite hobby, and I'd imagine lots of yours favorite hobby. the the ironic thing is, this is a tale that goes back literally since the dawn of video games itself.
Oh
The
Lord,
first
hasn't it?
incident, yeah, to kind of give a quick history lesson.
Oh, also, real quick, Ghosty adds in for the ninja thing that his normal is almost like 5 times that amount of viewership.
Oh wow, that like normal as in
Damn.
like day to day normal.
Yeah, I think that's what it means. Like the day to day normal, it's like 5 times what he has right now.
Oh, okay.
Oof.
Yeah, that's not
200,000
good.
plus. Yep, that sounds about right.
That's a hit. That is a hit. This kind of might fall flat. Rip Ninja's career.
Well, let's just see what happens with it. It's possibly just has
Yeah,
a rough
yeah,
start.
that's probably the best
But
bet.
anyways, we're on a different topic right now. So,
Yes. So like controversy of like violence in video games, it goes back to the dawn of video games. The quick history lesson. The first one that I can like think of is there was a Atari video game from the '70s called Death Race, where you could like run over people. I mean, this like literally this is like think like Atari graphics kind of stuff.
mm-hmm.
Um, uh, but in terms of like violence in video games, the topic really starts in earnest in the '90s, when you had like the Super Nintendo and the Genesis duking it out, and that's when you started to have congressional hearings, and you had people like the president of Nintendo and it was really centered around a couple different games. There was Mortal Kombat, which we all know and love, and then there is a game called Night Trap, which was a FMV game. To those who do not know what it is, I feel old, but it's
Like me.
basically a game. Yes, yes, yes. It's basically it's basically an interactive movie. Are you familiar with the game Dragon Slayer, Garrison?
Dragon Slayer. Yeah, yeah, that was the
You know where?
yeah,
Yeah,
that was the fully animated one, right?
yeah, where you'd have like prompts to do this or that. Dragon's Lair is basically an FMV game. Like in fact, it basically is. Um, so imagine
Shadow
like
Shadow adds in. I think MK Mortal Kombat was the first M-rated game. Like they made the ESRB because of it. I'm pretty sure. Yep.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Shadow's on point.
hmm Yeah,
Uh,
everyone in our stream right now is on point with
yeah,
it.
we got a really good audience. I'm really happy. You guys are awesome. Pat yourselves on the back.
hmm
Uh, but yeah, so like Night Trap, Night Trap was Night Trap had honestly it was basically where some girls were having a sleepover and they were vampires and you had to like trap them and whatnot. It was a very
Ghosty,
silly
you
game.
have a back. You have a back, and you will pat it, or I will pat it for you.
Oh my god,
Okay, sorry,
I
continue.
love our audience. Like seriously, they are the best.
Mhm.
And so, like, Howard Lincoln very famously uttered, Night Trap will never be on a Nintendo console. Guess what? Guess what was released for the Nintendo Switch a few years back?
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum.
So they did release it physically through limited run games. I want to get a copy, and if I ever meet Howard Lincoln, I'm gonna make him sign that. I'm gonna like put it. I'm gonna like slide it across the table. I'm gonna have like the biggest shit-eating grin as I pass it to him and say, "Please sign it, sir, and eat your words."
Mr. Miyamoto sends his regards.
Please tell me when Lo said that. Like, I just want to do that just to see his face, because I'm sure he since heard that it's gotten announced, and he
It's
just
like,
it's like now, like, because he knows that like people remember, because gamers do not forget.
okay.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back on the topic. So the rating system announced, which is a good thing. And then controversy in video games kind of started to flare up in the early 2000s. And you had a person named Jack Thompson. I'm sure that's kind of a name that makes people's blood boil. In fact, mine. I probably should take my heart medicine. Just kidding. And he was really crusading against like Grand Theft Auto, murder simulator, blah blah blah. And honestly, there's been study after study that have shown that violence does not lead to if violence in video games led to people becoming murderers, why are there not more cart drivers? Why is there not more farmers?
Mm-hmm.
Why is there not more Kingdom of Hearts?
What?
That last one
was such a stretch. Come on.
Well, I happen to be Stretch Armstrong, so.
But yeah, what you're
that
saying
was more just to get.
is,
That was more just to see if you were listening,
bro. I'm literally talking to you right now. What do you mean, just to see if I'm listening? But
I don't know. I just like to poke people. Okay,
but,
I like to poke people. Say, "You alive? You alive? Yes."
I mean, I think
Hi.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe you should ask Ghosty. They seem like a good arbiter to see if someone is alive or a ghost.
Nah, I'm pretty sure they know I'm alive.
Okay.
But anyways, so that is a good point. You bring up like, why is it exclusively for the violent part? Well, like why, like what you said, why aren't there more
And to add on
cart
to it,
drivers and whatnot?
Yeah, some video games are violent. There's no denying that. But also, there's violent movies, violent music. Like you can go to honestly, just turn on network television, and you can see people being dismembered. People getting shot and whatnot.
Yep.
Why is it? Are you gonna say something?
Oh, I was gonna say, Ghosty and Shadow actually added in. Ghosty says, "Truth be told, I think of it in this way: that games actually help calm people down more than make them violent because it is an outlet. Without games,
Boom.
the rage of every day would have a boiling point." Yep.
Yeah.
Right on the
that
nose.
is like exactly on point. Someone give this person a cookie. Give Ghosty a cookie.
I'll give him a cookie if I think I'll see him soon. I'll give him a cookie then.
All right. What does Shadow say?
And Shadow says, "Looks like they forgot all the wars we have had and serial killers way before video games." Yeah, pretty much.
On point. God damn, our audience is on point today. God damn.
Yeah, and the other thing is I'm not even sure if actual violence has increased. The school shootings, I think, have increased for sure.
Honestly, actually, I heard metrics that like violence is actually going down.
Yeah, overall violence is going down, but I think part of the thing is we're just hearing more of it because we have a way, way better information network than we did even
also
20 years,
newscasters want ago. Like honestly, this is going to sound very callous, but it's not directed at like the victims. It's more a indignation of the media.
Mm-hmm.
When the shooting happens, they win the lottery because that gives them a week's worth of solid content. Because the thing is, a 24-hour news, like a world is not meant to sustain a 24-hour news cycle. and like that's why a lot of news outlets have gone more towards clickbait. It's what grabs people's attention. It's not about the truth. It's about what gets you freaking ratings.
Yeah,
And controversy sells more. Oh,
I was going to say shadow heads in. However, with some people, they will rage at games and do stupid things. Video games can make people angry, but that goes for anything, really. Shows make people angry. Comics make people angry. The most stupid of things nowadays make people angry. Ghosty adds in. They don't look at the cause of most killings. Bullying, drugs, gang wars are all factors. They just look at gamers because it is a common factor, because it's the easiest thing for people to own. Yeah.
yeah. Well, not necessarily easy thing people own. Like, if video games are pretty expensive, but movies are pretty cheap. Like, I can get like DVDs or Blu-rays for $3 to $10. So
Yeah, but to be fair, you can do the same thing on Steam. Like, if you went and searched for Half-Life right now, especially during a sale, pretty sure you could get it for like $1 or $2.
yeah,
Or Half-Life 2, I should say.
or Humble Bundle.
Yeah, and no, the really funny thing was that I looked at some of the articles you sent me for this topic.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was this person talking about, like pretty much trying to fearmonger it, right? They were going around saying, oh my goodness, look at all this and look at all this. And like, we have studies that prove that violence and, that video games cause violence. And right afterwards, they mentioned, and we also have figures that 97% of people play these video games, and we, like, everybody in the comments section, and I love the comments sections for everything for this, stopped right in their tracks and said, hold on, you just said it's proven this, but that also 97% of people play these games, so why don't we have anything close to that 97% figure you're talking about?
Exactly, because if if it was like near 100% of people violent, like, because video games is probably the biggest media industry in the world today, like hands down.
Probably,
like I think,
yeah.
yeah, like I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 literally has earned almost as much money as Endgame by this point.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, it's probably no. Grand Theft Auto 5 has out earned Endgame by like 3 times over. And that's just one game, albeit an aberration. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 has only come along every once. I'm tangent, sorry.
You're good.
But like, and so honestly, it's kind of like the brightest bulb is the one that draws the most flies. And with video games being like the biggest media and also the newest, of course it's going to be a target. Whereas like stuff like movies, while they make a lot of money, they've also been entrenched in society for well over 100 years. So it kind of basically all comes down to new kid on the block syndrome.
Yeah, it kind of boils down to a couple things. One of them being something I learned from, I actually did take a psychology class, Psychology 101. The very first thing my instructor drilled into all of our heads was correlation does not equal causation.
Exactly.
Just because you tend to find video games around the violent people does not mean that the video games are the cause of the violence.
Right, because that kind of phenomenon could be more of the ones who shout the loudest are like most likely to be heard. Because for every one person that is like actually violent with video games, there's at least 1,000 more that are just quietly playing their video games and not even bothering anyone.
Yeah, they're just playing games. They're not bothering anybody. And what's really funny is that in one of those videos, interviewing the people that are basically saying, oh, we need to like do something about these horrible video games, they also mentioned, like, they again try to like fearmonger and rally the troops. We need to look within ourselves to and finally accept what the real cause is. Yes, we need to look in and accept it. It's caused by mental illness, by not taking care of your mental health. It's caused by having no actual, resources. It's caused by having no outlets. It's caused by being secluded. It's caused by all sorts of things. And some pixels on the screen isn't it.
You earned that. I'm sorry.
Thank
You
you.
fucking earned that.
Also,
You earned that
reading
so proud.
comments real quick. Let's see. Not only PC games like Fortnite, there's some very old sites like Newgrounds that have very violent action games that are super
Oh,
easy to get a
Newgrounds.
hold
Oh, I
of.
remember that.
Shadow says, I actually have found a torture game before where you have a hanging dude and have multiple ways to torture him. And then they both also add in, I eat food, so that means food causes violence, and I breathe air, and that makes me violent. Yeah,
I like to cut up tomatoes for salads. That means I also like to cut up people.
yeah. And actually, Shadow, I think I know that exact game you're talking about. I think I know, because I used to be really big into, like, the Flash games. Like, the Flash game stuff. There was that, and then there was the one with the, like, the gray dude. It was called Interactive Buddy. Granted, that one wasn't as gory, but yeah, it was literally just, here, have this little dummy thing that walks around. Do whatever you want to it.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, in any medium, you're going to have your extremes. I mean, there snuff films exist. You know, I mean, snuff films they exist. You know, basically movies of people getting killed. So, I mean, does that mean the video game industry, the movie industry itself, is violent or toxic? No,
Mm-hmm.
it just means that some sick individuals made a sick movie. No different from people. So, if someone makes a torture game, some sick individuals made a sick game. It's really just as simple as that.
Yeah. Now, it's different, though. Like, if you remember, there was a game a few years back that got released called Hatred. Do you remember that?
I remember that. I think the thing was just a little bit overblown. Like it was. I think I actually do remember that when that came out, and honestly, I feel like that whole thing was just a little overblown.
Um,
I think it was trying
kind
to
of.
like you like the game itself was very benign,
Yeah, the game
and
itself was whatever. But
yeah,
the issue
and I
was
think
like, sorry, go ahead.
like yeah, it's a person that goes on a rampage, but like there's lots of like you can go on a ramp like do the same thing in GTA or the no Russian mission like that. Like the no Russian mission is actually disturbing. I've never actually played it myself, but like it's so disturbing that they let you actually skip that mission. Oh, sorry, no Russian. It's a Call of Duty mission, I think from Modern Warfare 1 or 2, where you basically open fire on a bunch of innocent people in a airport. And you're trying to go like undercover in a Russian mob, and so you have to do it to fit in.
Oof.
Yeah, like that actually is disturbing. And then there in GTA 5, there's a scene where you have to torture someone for information. Like that scene, I hate going through that sequence. It's actually a story mission, so you have to do it. And like that scene just disturbs me. I just try to get through it as quickly as possible. It's just ugh.
Yeah, and I mean, with the hatred thing, it kind of was overblown, but not by that much actually, because I remember seeing the initial trailer for it, and it literally was this like this power trip fantasy edge lord character going around being like, the world doesn't understand me, Mom. So now I have to go and
Mom.
yeah, you don't understand me, Mom. And he has to go and like now he wants to go and just kill everybody. And like it was treating him like this badass, but what he was doing was like taking these really like frankly obviously innocent people and like curb stomping their heads in and like
Have you heard of the game Postal 2?
I've heard of it, and I've heard that there's kind of similar, like
Yeah,
it's
but
also very violent.
they have more of a comedic edge, and with him, he's just kind of like an older gentleman who's just like pissed off at the world. Um, so it's actually kind of the most hilarious part of the game is you can beat the game without hurting anybody. In fact, you get an achievement called Jesus Mode if you beat the game without hitting hitting or killing anybody. But
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like it's. I feel like the reason why Postal 2 is a little more tolerated is because you do similar things, but it's more motivated out of like situational frustration. Like how many people, like how many times have you been like in line at a bank and you just want to just go to the line, just like cause that it's more like that kind of stuff instead of
Yeah, and but my guess is that And keep in mind, I haven't played Postal. I've heard the name. I've heard
I
some
have
Croucher
it.
says.
I have. I'll admit, it's actually kind of fun. Like, there's literally a button where you can like unzip your pants and then pee on things.
See, what I'm curious though is how do they portray the character in Postal? What do they try to make him seem like?
Because honestly, the game is just a series of like mundane tasks. Like pick up milk, go to the bank, go get an autograph from Gary Coleman. Yeah, he's actually in the game. It's been a while since I actually booted it up, but like he's just more of like an everyday person, and it's just I don't know.
No, what I'm saying is like, do they do the hatred thing where they played up like, oh yeah, look at this, look at this badass going about.
No, it's more for comedy. Like he's kind of just
So
like
it's
he
a
lives.
satire.
Yeah, I think satire is the best word for it because like he lives in a trailer, and it's like the area he lives in is kind of a shithole, that kind of stuff.
Okay,
So like he's not portrayed as someone to aspire to. That much I can definitely say.
okay, good. That's the key difference, right there. That's the biggest difference. Is in those like in stuff like Postal, even like Manhunt. Yeah, they're graphic. They're very very violent, but they're not saying that's the ideal. That's what you should strive for.
Yeah, I think
That
like
was the hatred difference.
yeah. I'm trying to like think about like the torture scene in GTA because the person who does it is Trevor, who's basically like chaos incarnate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like he's kind of very much kind of like enjoying the moment, and like after like basically Trevor like Trevor is the kind of person we always wish we could be, but no, we shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like basically, we all want to live a certain level of freedom, do whatever we want, but we all know that if we live that life, we'd be dead or in jail within 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think one of the things about GTA 5 is they each represent like the ego, super ego, and then the id. Because Trevor is like full chaos, Michael is like full control, and like Franklin is like somewhere in the middle. He kind of floats between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a big fan of GTA 5, so that's why I know a lot about this. But yeah, it's kind of interesting because like after the whole scene, he actually like takes that guy to the airport, gives him a bunch of money for him to fly home. It's kind of not it's not something like a torturer would do after. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. I mean, we don't know the insane mind.
Like, I know I just gave you the worst time of your life not too long ago, but here's some taxi money. Get out of here.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I think the scene makes a little bit more sense in context because, like, it's basically like a bunch of like corrupt FBI guys that are kind of somewhat force him to do. I mean, granted, he doesn't need too much encouraging, but
Yeah, a little too much for our tastes, but
yeah, that scene always just makes me uncomfortable.
mm-hmm.
Let's get off this topic. I
Yep.
don't like this topic.
Yep, long story short, yeah, long story short of that entire conversation is video games aren't the cause of it. Psychological issues are the cause of it. Address those.
Psychological and other factors, but I
Yeah.
don't want to get into that.
Yep.
But definitely psychological issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. I'm trying to think about how to approach this topic. I mean, this one is not as heavy. In fact, I imagine you could say it's more comical.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So, everyone's merging with everyone. Like Disney bought Fox. Well, is buying everything. But recently, AT&T and Time Warner have been merging. Time Warner is the owner of DC Comics. And for the uninitiated, DC Comics is one of the big two, the other one being Marvel. DC Comics is famous for characters such as Batman, Superman, Justice League, The Amazing Wonder Woman, my favorite Teen Titans, and, lots of other characters.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this reports have emerged. Now this is all just rumors, but it was detailed in a Forbes article, which I sent to Garrison. And if you want, you can link it in the chat for people watching.
Okay, is that the one where does DC Comics fit in AT&T's vision? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about that one right there.
Yeah. Thank you. And so like basically
Also,
the
hi
what the
OJ. Sorry,
hi
continue.
OJ. It's okay. So DC Comics might not fit into their vision, and what that means is the comics division will either be spun off and possibly die on its own, or they just might kill it off and just basically because they want to use DC Comics as a lifestyle brand. Now, lifestyle brand is something it's kind of a marketing term. It's basically like apparel, the merchandise. Like for example, you're wearing Batman sleep pants, you're wearing a Batman T-shirt, you have Batman underwear, and you're drinking your Batman flavored coffee from your Batman mug. Someone needs a good life.
Yeah, okay.
But that's basically the short of it. Like it's basically your life is surrounded by these merchandise. The figures, the mugs, the T-shirts and whatnot. And while focusing on lifestyle brand is perfectly fine for a short-term benefit, the thing is we are kind of we are still we're in the superhero trend. What happens when superheroes are not trendy? Because superheroes will eventually go the way of westerns. That is a for certain thing. Not to say superhero movies will ever die out permanently, but it's more just we won't see them as frequently because the fatigue will eventually sit in. That's an inevitability. The only question is how long can it last, and no one really knows. So like right now, nerd stuff is in vogue, which is great. Nerds rule. But the problem is, what happens when the culture shifts some other way? Like instead of comic book movies, what if video game movies finally take off? Because honestly, they're getting better. Like honestly, we've gotten some decent ones. Like from what I hear, the recent Tomb Raider movie was actually pretty decent.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. They went from being complete garbage to being mediocre at best.
Though I will fight you if you say the Castlevania animated series is nothing but perfection.
I actually haven't watched that, so I'm not going to say anything on it.
I'm a huge Castlevania fan, and it's really, 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 really good. Like as a Castlevania fan, it makes me happy.
Couple things. Ghosty says when we were talking about like the Batman mug and all that, Ghosty says because Batman. Okay, yep, totally agree there.
Yeah, I can't deny that because Batman.
Ghosty also says there will always be a thing to take over from another like player ready. You mean Ready Player One?
Yeah, Ready Player One is kind of. I don't think it's part of this discussion. Maybe meant something else.
Possibly.
But I get what he was saying. Like there will always be something ready to take over, and so sure, focus on the short term cash, but like a lot of these companies aren't really focusing on the long term because it kind of reminds me. DC was kind of in this predicament before, kind of like in the '80s, where DC got like its first female publisher, and she was actually really good at her job. And I actually heard the story about how like she argued with the higher ups because they wanted to just shutter DC Comics. This is in the '80s, and she argued that the stories they produce today are the movies of tomorrow, or something along those lines. And under her run, you got some of the best DC Comics story. You got Watchmen, you got like Dark Knight Returns. You got basically stories that they're still adapting. I mean, heck, there's a Watchmen HBO series coming out soon, which I'm actually really excited for. And it's really true. Like if you stop producing new comic book stories, what's to say 20 years from now when they've tried their fifth failed attempt at adapting Phoenix Saga, what are they going to do now? I don't know if they got that jab. Because X-Men 3, I'm not going to explain the joke, but yeah. Sorry.
You're fine. You're fine.
Ugh. But yeah, it's like, so creators need to create. I mean, honestly, since Phoenix Press is kind of in the indie field, and indie comics are actually taking off really, really well. So that really bodes well for us, But like, if DC and Marvel go, that's a big bastion of comics. I mean, I'm sure comic books will survive, but like, that's a big blow to the industry, and I don't want to see them go because I want to write Batman one of these days. Like, I actually, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care if it's not like it's not something I want to make money off of. It's just, I mean, obviously I'll get paid for it, but like, I just want to write Batman so that like it's kind of a childhood fantasy, Like, oh, I wrote a Batman story here. It has my name on it,
Mm-hmm. Or you could go like the Hollow Knight or the Hat in Time route, where it's like, here's my not Batman story.
Wait, Hat in Time? What's
Uh,
that? What's that a parody of?
oh no, A Hat in Time isn't a parody. It's just like a reimagining of like Super Mario Sunshine, that type of thing.
Oh, okay. I've actually heard about a Hat in Time. I heard it was pretty good.
It is. It's really, really good, and it controls beautifully.
I need to play Hat in Time now. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh,
But yeah, actually, the whole video game thing brings up a good point. Like, for instance, with the pixel art games, like the entire mainstream industry moved away from pixel style games, or in like the flat 2D platformer type game. Those that deal. They moved away from that for the more like big robust 3D stuff. Okay, that's great, but like what you said with the indie comics thing, it just means that the little guys are able to pretty much take that void and go, okay, cool. There's a market here. What can we do with it?
Yeah, and like indie video games are honestly a big part of the industry nowadays. It's not some niche thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Indie video games are treated as, like, honestly, like if you go to like Walmart or whatever, and you look at like the games on the shelf, probably 25% of the games you see for sale are indie games.
Probably, yeah.
Sorry.
Ghosty says, let's see, as long as the current generation is so set in comics from DC and Marvel, it will live, but after they are gone, it is unknown where it'll end up. Yeah, pretty much, because, and I'll elaborate.
Yeah, because right now the younger, from what I've read, the younger generation is more into manga, because like when you buy a volume of manga, you get like more for your money. Like, I don't know how much a manga costs. Like, let's say it's like $5 or $10. It's like 3 or 4 different comics. So like for the price of one manga, you're essentially getting 3 comics. So a $15 value for like $10. I mean, and plus mangas nowadays usually have better stories
well,
than the American ones.
To elaborate on what Ghosty was saying, yeah, that's a really good point, because you have your older generation of, they'll be into it, but then when they're gone or they stop caring about comic stuff, you have to have something to grab a new audience.
Yeah,
that's part
yeah.
of it. There's always a cycle going there. So
yeah, and like that's where like the 20, 30, 40 year rule comes from. Because 20-year rule is more about like I liked it as a kid. Now I have money. I want to do it again. Like that's kind of where retro games started to. That's why retro games became a thing in like late 2000s, early teens, and it's still going today. And like comic books have always kind of filtered off of that. And you'll always have people, parents sharing with their kids, and the kids get into it. But like, if there's not new material being made by the big leagues, it kind of becomes even more and more and more niche as the time goes on. Like Ghosty said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they have to freshen it up in some way, like what has been happening with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They've been able to bring in new people.
Like, yeah, but the problem is like the comics themselves, the quality hasn't been up. So it's like the potential people you bring in, it's not as like I've heard plenty of stories of like people going into a comic book shop like, oh, I want to read about Iron Man. Oh, and they see like this person that doesn't look like Robert Downey Jr. or like, oh, I want to read about Thor. It's like it's not even the right gender. And like they get confused and they leave. I've seen plenty of stuff like that.
Ghosty says a basic manga can range from $9 to $12, and they can make out to about 100 pages, where a comic is less than 100, so they see it as much more for the price.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly. Because
those numbers sound about right.
yes, yeah, it does. Now the comic book person, I can definitely tell you the average comic book ranges between 20 and like 24 pages. So like, let's just say 25 pages just to make it easy, and let's say the manga is 100 pages. That's basically 4 comic books, and Marvel is charging sometimes like $4 or $5. So like, you're literally getting 100 pages, $10. You're literally getting like 4 comic books for the price of 2. I mean, who can argue with those kind of numbers?
True, true. The value proposition is definitely there for manga stuff.
Yeah. Plus, manga really has been doing a lot of good storytelling. Like from what I hear, like My Hero Academia is basically just kind of a deconstruction of Western superhero tropes.
Yeah, okay, shame on me. I actually haven't watched through My Hero Academia. I kind of stopped watching it around episode 12. But yeah, people go nuts for that show.
Shame, shame,
I know.
shame.
I know.
To be fair, I haven't either, but I'm not really. I mean, I'm only a dabbler in anime, so I have a little bit of an excuse. You don't.
Yeah, isekai anime has been really popular lately. The idea of
Isekai.
oh, okay, right, you don't know that. Isekai base generally means person getting transported to an alternate fantasy world.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen those type of stories. Those are pretty nifty.
Mm-hmm.
I got transported to a faraway land in a land where monsters rule. Monster Rancher.
What on earth?
I,
What is that?
it's an anime from the early 2000s that was a tie-in for a video game that was basically a ripoff of Pokemon. Well, not a ripoff, but a competitor.
Digimon?
Monster Rancher.
Um, I heard about Monster Rancher. I haven't.
It was big in like the PlayStation generation and then like the PlayStation 2, but like after that it kind of fell off because the gimmick is basically you scan CDs, and during the PS2 generation you also do DVDs, and it would come up with monsters, and like some specific CDs or DVDs would have specific monsters in them. So like, let's say you had Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You." You scan that CD, you basically get like a Frost Wolf.
Interesting.
Yeah, but like you pop in just like any old CD and it just randomly generate a monster.
Okay, that actually is a really cool gimmick.
Yeah, it doesn't really work as well now since a lot of people don't really have a big collection of CDs, DVDs, or Blu-rays.
True, true. But we should probably get back like directly on topic with the comic industry stuff.
Yeah, yeah. If I can be perfectly honest, I don't really see. Honestly, if this isn't just my semi-educated guess, I don't think DC Comics is going to shutter because the comic book industry is $1 billion. Now, even if that's chump change in the grand scheme of things, it's still a significant sum. And also, Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman, they're 3 of the most iconic characters culturally today. Like literally,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, before Marvel was doing movies, it was either you got Batman or Superman movies. They were doing Superman movies as early as the 70s.
And Batman versus Superman movies.
Martha, what's her name? Save Martha. Oh, that movie deserved better. I actually liked it. But yeah, the whole Martha stuff was kind of stupid. But the movie overall was pretty good in my opinion. I'm a DC fanboy, so that kind of helped things a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So like honestly, I don't think DC's going to go anywhere. And with Marvel literally having the highest grossing movie of all time, I mean, well, to be honest, if you adjust for inflation, Gone with the Wind still doesn't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I did there?
Yeah, yeah.
Like seriously, Gone with the Wind is but honestly, I think it's pretty close though. Like I think it's like $40 million if you adjust for inflation. Gone with the Wind is still number one by a small margin.
Yeah, when you adjust for inflation, like you said.
Yeah, when you adjust for inflation, like Star Wars, Jaws, a lot of those films actually kind of jump on the list. It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, but actually, Ghosty makes a good point. Marvel would buy out DC before AT&T would close them down, and I kind of see them accepting that deal.
I don't think that would happen. I think the FTC would not allow that to happen because the thing is, Disney will not. Okay, Disney will never own both Marvel and DC. That will never happen because the FTC will not allow that to happen because that will create a monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that will not happen. It will not. Like trust me, that is straight out monopolizing territory. I think the bet and also like there's too much money to be made in DC, at least on the lifestyle and movie side. They're not going to stop making the merchandise, so they have an investment in the character. So like, so. I mean, it's hard to fathom like them actually doing it. Like Marvel's not going anywhere. There's no way. Like Marvel's going to keep producing comics. I definitely think they need new editorial management, but that's just my opinion.
And is it just me, or is like an issue with the comic industry is like even when you factor even when you take out all the indie stuff, like if you just focus on the absolute mainstream, is it just like me, or is it kind of oversaturated?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of basically the biggest problem to the comic book industry is the industry itself. The books are too expensive. No one really cares about the stories. They're introducing a lot of characters that no one really cares about. Let's see here. Also, you basically have the creators basically attacking fans on Twitter. Like the Mark Wades of the world. Yes, I just name dropped that.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's whatever. I mean, we're small fry. I mean, whatever.
Okay, fair enough. No, I
Neither.
mean in the sense of like I would walk into my local comic shop because that's where they also do trading card games and whatnot. I'd look over at the comic section.
Fanfare.
Yeah, fanfare. Like
I
I would look over at the
like that
comic
store. It's a
section
good
and
store.
just get overwhelmed. There'd be like what 6 or 7 different new Superman issues, all of them different series.
And you
One
have
of
to,
them,
and let's just hope there's not an event running because if there's an event running, you basically have to follow like 15 different books just to get the full story.
yeah,
And some
exactly.
of those books
It's
cost like $4 or $5 a pop.
exactly like, and I that's a huge barrier to entry. Like I don't know what all of that is. I don't know which ones are canon.
It's a bigger reason why the indie scene is taking off because a person can be like, oh, hey, there's this indie comic book. Oh, it's just this one book, and I can just, okay, it's like 3 issues in. Oh, I can just buy the old issues, or it's like, oh, hey, they did a 6-issue miniseries. Okay, I can read it like a book. Oh, they did 2 other 6-issue miniseries, and each of those are self-contained stories. I mean, that's a big reason why this is kind of like inside information.
Mm-hmm.
Won't be for much longer. But like, so like, I do have a bunch of other like characters I want to introduce for Phoenix Press, but I plan on keeping them separate. Maybe have the occasional crossover or whatever, but like each story will be kind of like, like, oh, hey, this person's in Seattle, this one's in Detroit, this one's doing things in the desert, stuff like that. They're far apart where their stories don't interact with each other. Like, maybe have like 1 or 2 issues where they interact, and maybe like every once in a while do a big event, blah blah blah. Like do a mini series where you have the event and then have like 1 or 2 titles a month cross, tie in, manageable stuff. And that's what I plan on doing because
Now,
like I see. Oh, sorry, what?
I was gonna say one trend I have seen that I actually am really really appreciating, and I think has something to do with the comic industry, or rather the mainstream comic industry, kind of slowing down, is people recently have been favoring not the long running stories, but like shorter running but very heavy hitting stories.
Yeah,
Like, for
yeah,
instance,
because
what's like in terms of like we can look at anime alone. When was the last time we've seen something like what was it? When was the last time we've seen a Naruto, like, a 700 episode running series? Like, I
why do you
guess you
think
could
people
say
like the 12 episode
Boruto.
anime season, like the 12 episode anime series? You know,
Yeah, there's a ton
um,
of 12 episode anime series. Even 50 I would consider kind of on the shorter
why
side.
do you think? Why do you think people love their Netflix shows? They're like 8 to 12 episodes a season. Like they can binge those in a day.
Yeah, but that's not what the comic industry does. The comic
Mm-mm.
industry is the type of people that look at it and go, okay, here's episode, or not episode, my mistake, issue 546,
I mean,
where
hell, Action
now,
Comics and Detective Comics recently celebrated their 1,000th issue.
yeah, it's just too long running, and it's way too much to catch on for new people to enter. So then you have the people who lose interest over time without new people coming in. So it's only natural that
Yeah,
it dies.
yeah, it's definitely why there is this one comic book series I got in development where I purposely took it from an ongoing and I basically decided, all right, I'm gonna do the 6 issue miniseries. I'm gonna tell my story, leave it open, but kind of just have a beginning, middle, and end. And then if it's popular, maybe I'll do a sequel to it.
Let's see. Ghosty was saying that truth be told, it would not be a monopoly when you were talking about Disney buying out DC as well, because there are a ton of comic companies. Those two are the kings on the tower of the comic industry. They are the only two. They are the only two people can name off the top of their head instantly.
And that is why, and that is
Yep.
why I firmly believe the FTC will not allow it because those are the two big ones. Like, yeah, like Dark Horse is a thing, and you have like the third tier, like the second tier ones, like not necessarily indie, but say that not first rate. Like your Boom, your Dynamite, but like it's basically Marvel, Disney, not Marvel, Disney, Marvel, DC, and then Dark Horse kind of, and then
Yeah.
like
Marvel, DC, and everyone else.
yeah, and that's why I think a big reason why Disney will not buy DC because it just
Yeah,
for
it's
one,
because you're
Warner
still
Brothers.
talking about like 80% of the comic industry or some dumb number like that.
Yeah, and plus Warner Brothers clearly has shown they have no intention of like giving up the full rights to the characters. It's just the comic book portion that they thinking about just stopping. Because they definitely want to do more Batman movies. They definitely want to keep selling those Batman T-shirts and those Batman mugs and those Batman pajamas.
Ghosty says the FTC would not be allowed to stop them because since it would not be a monopolization, they would try to stop them, but law would still protect them.
Mm.
I mean, that's possible, but also, like Nick said, they're like DC's not necessarily going anywhere, but the comic portion of it is certainly probably going to die out.
And even then, like I don't know if they do that. Like I just it's just such a monumentally stupid idea. You know, I don't
What
know.
for Disney to buy out DC?
Oh no, no, that's not going to happen just simply because Warner Media has such an investment in the characters
No, like specifically the stupid idea you were saying.
of Warner Brothers stop doing the comics.
Wait, but that's what we were just talking about the whole time. Like the
Yeah, like
com.
I don't think they'll do it because it's just a very stupid idea. Um,
Gotcha. Okay, my mistake.
I mean, it remains to be seen, and I mean, basically, we're just reporting on rumors right now. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Um, Nothing actually
reporting on
definite.
rumors and speculating based on the information that we have.
Yeah, like yeah. So it's just like I also heard some rumors that like Crunchyroll and Rooster Teeth might be merged into one because they're both owned by Warner.
Hmm.
That would be interesting. But yeah, like honestly, this whole everyone buying everyone phase we're in is I just feel it's kind of stupid. I mean, this is basically the late '80s all over again.
Hmm.
Sorry, history lesson. Like basically in the late '80s, everyone was buying everyone, kind of similar to how we're doing now. And in like the early '90s, we had a bit of a recession, and I just feel like things are just going to come crashing down again, and it's just going to be really bad.
Yeah, we'll just see what happens with that now, because like you said, we just don't know for sure. We're just guessworking at this point.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, on that sour note, I guess we should start wrapping things up.
Yep. Yeah, we talked about everything we want to talk about, right?
Yeah, is there anything you want to bring up?
I was trying to remember. There was a something I
La
wanted to
Luigi?
mention. Nah, no, it wasn't Waluigi.
No, the
Luigi.
Luigi.
No, 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 not that, not that. Um, I was, ah, man, it was right on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it for the life of me now. So I'll just
Did the
save it for
cat
next
get your
week.
tongue?
Yep, cat got my tongue.
Meow.
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 All right, we should probably
All
call it
right.
off now.
So thank you for stopping by, everyone. I actually really appreciate you guys. We had a really good discussion between you all. Thank you, Ghosty. Thank you, Shadow, for coming out, and all the other people in the audience. You can, if you're interested in following us further, we have several places you can. I'm sure Garrison will be linking it shortly.
Yep. Once I
All right.
get my stuff.
We'll be posting this on YouTube on Sunday, so you can subscribe there. We have a like page you can like, and there's also the Project Access page, which is a comic book currently in development. I am the writer. Garrison is the colorful of the colorist. And
Yep.
then, if you feel like supporting us further, we do have a Patreon.
Mhm.
All right. My name is Nick Gibson, and I appreciate you coming out.
Okay. We'll
And
see
you
you guys
are.
later then.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.